Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast with your hosts, Reese Downing and Jacob Workman.
What's up, everyone? Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NCAA edition, Week 8 preview and picks. Joining, as always, on the other side of the world, co-host Reese. Reese, we're getting right into this. There was breaking news just about 20 minutes ago. Penn State, one of their hopes is gone. Indiana head coach Curt Cignetti has agreed to a new 8-year contract, $11.6 million annually, all the way through November of 2033. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, good for the Sig. I mean, I saw his name come up in all of this once Franklin got let go, and my first thought is, why would he leave? I mean, he's competing with the best teams in the country right now. They obviously love him in Bloomington. He seems to be getting everything that he needs from a talent perspective, and every year that they win like they're winning right now, there's going to be more people that want to go to Indiana to play football. So, I mean, if the boosters are going to do what's needed from an NIL standpoint to be able to bring those players in, like, why would you not stay where you're at? I'm happy for him. He's done his job. I mean, he stepped in and he's winning ball games. So, I mean,
yeah, I think
can't fault him.
I think the only thing that you would have to say is Penn State. I mean, IU has money, but we've talked about it over the last few weeks. Penn State is dedicated to putting tons of money into all of their NIL stuff right now, their facilities and all of that stuff. But from a lot of things that you read, I mean, he was a Pittsburgh kid and a West Virginia guy. So Penn State's probably not exactly a place he would want to go just for rivalry reasons. But I mean, that's one of the big names off the board in what's looking to be a crazy coaching carousel. We're going to get into it a little bit. We'll start with the main one, obviously. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, we were talking about James Franklin. They were the number 3 ranked team in the nation. Oregon was playing them in a whiteout. They were winning in overtime. And
now he's gone.
2 weeks later, gone. He's owed $49 million. Now, there is a clause in there. Apparently, he has to do interviews or some shit. It seems like a dumb clause to me because kind of like if you watch Pat McAfee, but they were like, yeah, just go into the interview and be like, yeah, I'm the worst coach of all time. Yeah, I'm the worst TV analyst of all time. I'm not going to speak. I lose my mind sometimes. Like, why would you? I mean, I think he'll end up in coaching again just because that's what he is, but it's like that seems like an odd clause to me.
Yeah, I agree.
The $49 million buyout was second largest ever. First was one and only Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M, which was $76 million. Terry Smith is now going to be the interim head coach at Penn State. He's been there all 12 years with James Franklin. Oddly enough, from everything you see, Matt Rule seems to be the favorite to get this job. I mean, Raiola does have time left, so he could come over with Raiola. Before I get your thoughts on this, I'm going to pull up one thing real quick before we get into this discussion. This is Penn State's schedule next year. Marshall, at Temple, Buffalo, at Maryland, at Michigan, at Northwestern, Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers, USC. That's 4 home games in a row. Oh, wait a minute. Well, 5 home games in a row. Wisconsin, and then at Washington. Oh, you know what? Those aren't going to be okay. Never mind. Those are not going to be in a row. Those dates have not been set yet. So that was a little misleading, but those are the teams that they play. So I'll go through it one more time quick. Marshall, at Temple, Buffalo is the start of the season. Those 3 games are set. At Maryland, at Michigan, at Northwestern, home against Minnesota, home against Purdue, home against Rutgers, home against USC, home against Wisconsin, and at Washington. That is the easiest schedule I've ever seen. Someone's going to walk in there with all of that money Penn State's willing, more than likely bringing in a quarterback that they want, that they're going to pay the world to, probably even pay to spend for the roster even. I mean, the doors are open. And that's the schedule? Like, fuck, give me $250,000 and give me the money that they're going to have to spend on NIL, and I can get that team to the playoffs. Like, that schedule's terrible. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's no IU. There's no
Oregon. There's no Ohio State.
There's no Oregon. There's no Ohio State.
Like USC will be a tough game. Yes, that's a home game. And at Michigan, probably a tough game. But that's it. That's 2 games. Well, at Washington, I will say will be a tough game. But situationally, we don't know what exactly is going to be happening there yet. I mean, you could not ask for a better schedule to go in to a brand new situation. Like, you don't even leave the state of Pennsylvania in the month of September, more than likely, unless the very last game is.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like, I look at that and I'm like, how could you not go there? Rule seems interesting to me because I know he is trying to build Nebraska up. But if Rule could go, he's probably taking Raiola with him. He's probably taking most of the staff with him. Like, I don't know. Nebraska's not on that schedule either. Like, there's a lot of things to like there.
Yeah, I mean, from what I was reading earlier, and I understand why Rule's doing this in the moment because he's in the middle of the season, but he says he's not interested and that he's dedicated to staying in Nebraska.
Yeah.
I've seen some interesting names there. You know, you've got guys like
well, hold on before you get into these names.
Okay.
So one of my favorite things that I see, Message Board Genius is one of the greatest Twitter follows ever. Came across this one. This guy wants Urban Meyer. He wins. He can finger blast any co-ed he wants if I can get a national title out of it. I'll let him fuck my sister too, and my mother at the same time. Then he can videotape it and make me watch it, and I'll happily do so for an Addy. So this guy is heavily Jason Waterfalls is heavily clamoring for Urban Meyer here.
VIP.
What other names were you looking at here?
Jesus. So I've seen a few names. Joe Brady, Bills OC, was kind of an interesting one that I saw. Brian Hartline, OC at Ohio State's another one. Manny Diaz and Al Golden both have ties to the Penn State area. I like Will Stein, OC at Oregon. And then you've got the usual suspects that we've heard through a lot of these with guys like, I mean, Drink is a name that I've seen a couple times. Kenny Dillingham, like Dillingham, he's a player motivator, and he has to be strapped at Arizona State to especially when you compare Penn State, like having unlimited resources. And that's the whole reason why we went from Franklin in the Oregon game winning in overtime to losing. Like, Penn State threw everything, NIL numbers, like returning starters that could have gone pro. They went and stole the DC from Ohio State. Like, this was not about resources. This was about a lack of leadership and inability to produce in big spots.
And they have one of the, I mean, realistically, if you think about it, Kotelnicki was one of the most like highly sought after offensive coordinators. Jim Knowles was one of the most highly sought after defensive coordinators. I mean, that's a high profile staff. And for those results, like, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. And it was even interesting, those two guys being available too, like, or will be at the end of the year.
Will be. Yeah.
Some of the names you mentioned, we're going to play a little game in a little bit with some different teams. And there's definitely 2 names that you mentioned that I'm going to throw out for a potential opening that I hope happens.
Are they in Tallahassee?
In the state of Florida. So we'll get to that one in just a little bit, though.
What about University Park Shrek?
I don't think we'll see that. Rule. I mean, yeah, I know what he said, and I know how it is. To me, I thought it was very odd when it came out that like he was such a clear-cut favorite, but I mean, it truly is seeming like that's what it's going to be. So then again, you got Nebraska open. That's a huge job opening there too. I mean, it's just an interesting carousel at this point of what's going to happen and teams just not waiting.
Yeah. I mean, Nebraska would be an interesting job if that does end up happening. But yeah, I mean, if you're Matt Rule, how do you not go? But I don't know. I mean, who else is out there? Like, Elko's not going to want to leave A&M the way that A&M's looking right now.
Yeah, and A&M has more money than any school in the nation, so that's I don't think that would happen. I did see that. Again, this is another school we're going to talk about a little bit too, but there was talks of a potential throwing the world at Marcus Freeman. But
I did. Again, I did hear about Marcus Freeman.
I just don't know if I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm not leaving Notre Dame for Penn State.
No, because you can get this schedule every year.
And I think Notre Dame hides their money pretty well, but I think they're spending probably just as much as Penn State is.
Yeah, I don't know where they go. I honestly thought the Cignetti was going to be, and I mean, credit to IU because IU's like, nope, like we're not. Yeah. They like, as soon as that firing happened, those guys got on the horn and they were like, what do we have to do to get this guy to stay?
Yeah, it was a great move. And he's clearly happy there. Like he pretty much loves it. Like you can tell he loves it there. So, and to go in and that quick turnaround with what he's done already, I mean, we probably can't say they're a lock in this case because we've said lock on a few things we thought were going to happen and didn't, but IU should be a lock for the playoffs at this point, pending something crazy. So
yeah, 100%.
I mean, and they're even looking at potential home game conference championship in the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis. So, I mean, Cignetti's only doing great things there. And like I said, IU's got sneaky money. They're spending money, and they brought in the JMU guys, spent the money to bring in even more guys. And what they've done, I mean, the Big Ten is not deep. That it's obvious. The Big Ten is very top heavy. It's kind of like what we talk about in the ACC. Like if you can bring in that right roster, you can be at the top instantly. There is no dominant per se team in the Big Ten. Now, last year I would say Ohio State was. Yes, I would say they were a different breed, but this year's Ohio State's not that case. I don't think they haven't played anyone yet. And yeah, they played Texas, but I'm not buying Texas either. So it's a little different.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line in this situation is that, you know, Pat Kraft said we're here to win titles, and that was titles with an S. So he's not looking to rebuild. He's shopping for an elevator for them to go from the first floor to the penthouse, right? So I think they're going to make a big swing at somebody. I would be shocked if it's, I mean, is Gruden interested in that job? I haven't seen his name mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he wants NFL. I don't know. That personality would fit Penn State, but I'm not sure that's I don't know. Like, I don't know.
That's a pendulum swing too, from James Franklin to John Gruden, because James Franklin's that very kind of like even keel, like to go to Chucky.
It is, but I just don't know if college kids, like, you gotta think how young these kids are. Like, do they even know who the fuck John Gruden is? Like, I mean, he wasn't shit in their whole life, other than the guy that got fired for some emails. Like, I don't know if he, especially in the world of what college is right now, like, I don't know if it matters. Like, I think that's why Gruden might be more NFL based, because I kind of think Belichick's kind of seeing that too. Like, and even Belichick was known in these kids' lives and good, but it's like, until you show me what you can do here, why would I go there? Like, it's not I don't know. I feel like they're more NFL based, but
we're gonna talk about Belichick in a little bit on the NFL podcast, because there's a job opening that just opened up in Nashville that I think you may be interested in.
I'm gonna run through some of these other job or coaching changes, and then some potential things that might happen. So Oregon State, we've talked about how terrible they are. They did fire Trent Bray. He started at 0-7. He's got 2 years. He was 2 years into a 5-year deal. He finished 5-14. He's owed just over $4 million. South Carolina fired offensive line coach Lonnie Teasley. UAB has fired coach Trent Dilfer. Anything on any of those before we get into the next thing?
No, I mean, the Dilfer one is the one that I had some notes on, just because not shocking. I was actually surprised that it took as long as it did. I mean, they dropped 2-4, gave up 53 points to FAU. He was on track for his third straight losing season. All 4 losses this year were by 14 plus. He's never won a road game at UAB, which is like, I had to look at that to make sure that was accurate. Like,
it's a hell of a stat.
Never winning a road game is insane. And I actually like, they have Alex Mortensen, who is their OC, has been promoted to interim head coach. Like, I actually kind of like him for the head coaching position there if things work out for him. That offense doesn't look bad. They just couldn't stop a nosebleed. There's also been a couple other names there, but I mean, Mortensen spent 9 years in this as an assistant under Saban. He was a college and NFL quarterback. There's a lot of things I like about him, but yeah, I was surprised that it took as long as it did for them to get rid of Dilfer. Yeah.
All right. So one more thing before we get into the real fun game. So all of these reports have started coming out, and they all seem to be true, that regardless as to what happens after this weekend's game, Billy Napier is getting fired. Apparently some very, very heavy boosters have met with the athletic director, and it's over. I mean, it's a hell of a way to see it. I think it's crazy that it's came out like this, but from all indications, it's like a true thing. And they're going into the bye week next week, so they want to fire him going into the bye. I mean, he's under 500. He's 0-14 versus ranked opponents away from the swamp. That's insane. I mean, we went through a few weeks ago some of his other terrible numbers, but you can't be at Florida and do that. I don't know. They did just come out and announce that they're going to renovate Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. So with money being poured in, and that's kind of the thing we're going to get to with some of the other schools in a minute, but money's being poured in. There's no success. You gave him plenty of time and he's done nothing.
Yeah. And you don't want, I mean, from a state perspective, do the Gators want Florida State to let go of their coach before Florida gets rid of Napier? Like, you know, Norvell's done a lot more for the program, and he seems like he's on the way out. You know, everybody's tired of his shit. So,
yeah, I mean, every year we're kind of surprised Billy keeps his job. Like last year, They went on that little run at the end of the year. It kind of saved it, but then Lagway hasn't been that great, and they've still done nothing. So, I mean, yeah, they beat Texas. They're like Ohio State. They're big wins, Texas. As much as you want to put into that. So yeah, I mean, it's a wait and see approach, I guess, but from all indications, this weekend's it for Billy. So at that point, we've got Penn State, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, UCLA, Arkansas are open. Florida apparently is going to come open. It seems like Auburn is probably going to be open. There's even chances Oklahoma could be open if they have a shitty finish, which it looks like they probably will. And then probably Florida State, Kentucky, Wisconsin. Like, those are some high-profile jobs that are open. Florida State is 390 days since they've won an ACC game. 390 days.
That's insane.
September 21st of 2024, we beat Cal at Cal. We haven't won a conference game since. How the fuck is that acceptable? Like,
it's not.
If that motherfucker, his ass better not have a plane ride home from Stanford at 2 fucking in the morning this weekend if we lose to Stanford. Because Stanford sucks. If we go there and suck, it's got to be over immediately. There shouldn't be any more. You can't survive that. Now, I get that college football is a different world now, and it's impossible to basically have consistency year after year after year and be dominant like Florida State was. But we're still in a conference not that great, and we're still in a conference where 10-2 every year is reasonable. Like, what we're doing is not reasonable.
Yeah,
it's a disgrace. There's I don't know. It just can't last. The people that were Norvell supporters after last weekend against Pitt all seem to kind of turn. And it seems like everyone's pretty much on the same page at this point. we gave him that huge contract after the 13-0 season. So the buyout is absurd, but people have came out like apparently the boosters have said the money will be there if the buyout's necessary. And with all the money being put into the stadium, all of the money put where the football only facilities that we built is about to open, like here in just a couple of weeks, they came out and said that they're going to start transitioning to it, I think, next week. So I don't think he should even get to see the fucking facility. I don't think he has done enough to deserve to get to that facility. If when we move in there, it should be a brand new start. Get all of the fucking coaching staff out of there, except Odell. Odell's the only one that is worthy enough to stay. And Surtain, Pat Surtain should be our fucking, what the fuck do you call it? Not honorary, interim coach for the rest of the season. Leave Surtain, leave Odell. I don't care if they're the only goddamn two guys on our staff. Get rid of all of them. There needs to be a massive change in Tallahassee. And that's where we were getting at with the names that you said earlier when I said there are two that I would throw out. Kenny Dillingham is my number one choice, obviously. He used to be our OC. Now, he was our OC because he did work with Norvell before, so they're kind of hand in hand. Dilly is an Arizona State guy, though, so I think it's going to be tough to get him out of there because that is his type of place. But there's places that are huge that have money, and they're great jobs. And a lot of that talent coming back at Arizona State this year is going to be leaving.
Right.
So I think that might help the cause too. Kenny would be my number one. If we can get Kenny in Tallahassee, perfect. That would be fucking awesome. The second one is someone you did mention. Brian Hartline is my second choice. I would absolutely love to have Brian Hartline as the new head coach. The only thing, I know he doesn't have experience, but I mean, he has basically ran Ohio State's offense for the last few years. Ungodly talent at receiver that's been brought through there. I mean, even with quarterbacks that haven't been that I mean, Stroud was good, but I mean, Fields was hit miss. I mean, who the hell was the guy? Will Howard came and he had a decent year. Running backs and receivers have been the talent per se. They've been doing it without like Jesus quarterbacks is basically what I'm getting at. They're good teams that have won without the superstar quarterback. So Hartline and Kenny would be the two that I would love to see. I've seen a lot of stuff of Lane Kiffin being the potential for Florida if they can get rid of Napier. I've seen that be kind of like their dream, which I could see it, honestly.
I can see it, but I hate it as a Kiffin fan.
Yeah, I don't want him at Florida. Like I mean, I guess I would turn into a hater of him very quick, and he would be the perfect guy to beat on a yearly basis in a rivalry game because of how he is. But I just hope that that's not the case. I would prefer to not see that. On the other hand, if he wants to come to Tallahassee, though, I would love that also. Like he's someone I would accept and love.
Yeah, he would be fun to watch at Penn State too. But
yeah, that one would be interesting. I'm not sure that would gel, but it would be awesome to see. So out of all of the coaching, the teams we went through, the potential, Penn State, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, UCLA, Arkansas, Florida, Auburn, Oklahoma, FSU, Kentucky, Wisconsin. Those are all the probably going to be open jobs. Like, what do you have any thoughts on any of those, or just some people you would like to see in some of those places?
No, I mean, I definitely think we're going to see some current head coaches that are in positions where they're not going to lose their jobs, that are going to end up leaving for some of these bigger programs. One of the ones that we haven't talked about in this show, but we have in previous shows, is Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
You know, because we just talked about Virginia Tech's going to be throwing a lot of money at that program.
I think James Franklin.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, right? Is like now James Franklin's open to be able to go land in one of these spots.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State is another one that I think is an interesting position because Gundy was there for a really long time. I think there's a possibility to turn that program around. They've got a really good fan base there. Yeah, I mean, Penn State's obviously the top suited one right now, but it's interesting and difficult to try to predict where all these guys are going to end up. I think there's a possibility that Drink may leave. I know Dillingham is good for Arizona State, but I almost kind of look at it like the Elko situation, where like Elko had a good thing going to Duke, but you step into that next echelon, and Arizona State can't compete with the likes of Penn State when it comes to money and all that different kind of thing. So like, if Dilly really wants to solidify himself and play in the big boy league, like, not that Penn State's, or not Penn State, I'm sorry, not that the Big Ten is necessarily the big boy league right now because it's still the SEC, but moving out of the Big 12, and Big 12 is always a crapshoot too. That's just so competitive. At least if you move into Big 10 territory, you're going to be competing with a couple teams versus 12, which is what seems to happen every year in the Big 12. I'll be interested to see. I mean, does Napier had as much time as he had at Florida? Does he end up taking a lower, like a mid-level job? Maybe not necessarily a UAB, but I don't think he's necessarily going to stay unemployed.
No, I think that's too low. Because I could see Napier at Oklahoma State,
Nebraska, something like this. If Roll ends up leaving,
definitely, yeah, or Nebraska,
Arkansas, is one of those positions. I don't think Petrino is going to stay there.
Well, and the other name, I mean, Dan Mullen's got UNLV undefeated right now. And he was successful at Florida. Kind of got fired for. No, like, I mean, he was successful when he got fired at Florida, and they brought in Napier. So, I mean, Mullen's probably going to get one of these bigger name jobs, to be honest. Like,
Danton Lynn, the DC at USC, I think he's going to be up for one of these head coaching positions.
Well, let's do this. So there's one job we know it's open that is the biggest job open. It's Penn State. If you were the AD at Penn State and you could go, obviously Signetti has a new contract, for throwing him out, but you can go and throw your money at anyone that is realistic. Who do you think it would be? Who would you go get? Well, first let me ask, would it be Matt Rule?
I don't know that I would go for Matt Rule.
See, I wouldn't either.
He brought in Raiola into Nebraska, so nod to him there, and he was successful at Baylor, but I'm not as sold on Matt Rule being the long-term solution there. I think one of the things that's pretty consistently a problem at Penn State is their ability to have a consistent offense, which is why I think a guy like a Joe Brady or a Brian Hartline or a Will Stein are the guys that I would be,
or Dilly
would be most interested in. I mean, honestly, I think Dillingham would be the one that I would throw as much money as possible at, but I think I would say that for basically all of these programs that have openings. My hope is Dillingham either stays at Arizona State or he lands at Penn State or Florida State. But if I'm the AD at Penn State, I'm going after Dilly.
But I know how much you love Lane Kiffin. Would you go after Lane Kiffin before Dilly?
I do love Lane Kiffin, but I don't think Lane Kiffin's a good fit I feel like the program and the history at Penn State don't match Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Penn State just doesn't have the swagger that Lane Kiffin has. I feel like Lane Kiffin needs to be able to peacock. He needs to be able to be Lane Kiffin. And I just feel like Penn State's not that program. They just.
And that's kind of like what's perfect for, like, what Lane is to Ole Miss is like what Sig is to IU. Like, that's the perfect spot for them because they can go in and they can talk their shit and they can do what they want and bring that fan base back and make it like, yeah, we're fucking here. We sell out every game now. Like, IU sells like out Florida every game now. That's a huge difference. Like,
I think Lane Kiffin would be an excellent fit at Florida State.
Oh yeah, I do too. I do too. If you go back and mix what we were with what he is, and put it together, and
yes.
And they have actually had very good recruiting classes where Florida State, the recruiting has not been what it should be lately. So yeah, I think Lane.
And he's a player. He's a coach that these players want to play. I mean, he's fucking throwing slam dunk alley-oops up in the air on the sidelines in the middle of the game. Like, that's the kind of swagger that these kids get attracted to. And I don't think Penn State's the solution there. I do think seeing him land at Florida State would be an excellent hire. But just to round back to what we were talking about initially, I would not be going after Matt Rule. I would be going after Dilly. And if Dilly wouldn't take the job, then I would probably be either looking at Brian Hartline or Will Stein. Those would be the two that I would probably be looking at.
Yeah, and I think those are realistic hires. The thing that scares me about those two is they just made a giant move to get rid of Franklin with all of that money and all of the money. I don't know if those names are big enough for what they want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that they want the name, like they want the big hire. And I mean, when you hear Brian Hartline and fucking win Ben Stein's money, you're like, that's great.
Well, I mean,
Hartline,
I think like, they're a little bit more familiar with just because of his tie-ins to Ohio State. But
you would think so, but they also just brought over their D coordinator, and look what that got them. So,
right.
I mean,
but Franklin came from Vandy, right? That's where he was at beforehand. So it's not out of the question for Penn State to take a swing on a guy that maybe not is the sexiest hire. But
well, they should get Clark Leah and get Diego to have his 34th year of eligibility and come in, and that would be what Penn State really needs.
Yeah, I mean, Drink's doing some good things in Missouri. I don't know.
See, and he's that type of. I think kind of what we were talking about with Kiffin. I don't think he fits that bill because he's more of that I don't know, like fan base coach, like the hype man.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll see. Obviously, there's a lot of changes coming and coming quickly, so we will see where this all ends up. Obviously, we're gonna have more and more as the weeks go on, and we're just waiting for that one surprise because there's gonna be something that's like, holy shit. And is that Marcus Freeman takes a different job? Is that Mike Elko takes a different job? Does Steve Sarkisian fuck Texas here somehow and get fired? Because if Texas opens up, we've got a whole nother fucking world of conversation because that's the best job available immediately. So,
yeah,
I mean,
there's another program that I think Lane Kiffin fits in perfectly for.
Yeah,
Can you imagine Lane Kiffin and McConaughey on the sidelines together?
Oh, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It would be perfect. Like, yeah. Like, let Texas open and we're going to see who's willing to spend some money because there's money.
Money's going to start flying this offseason regardless. Yeah, it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. And if Florida State, like, Jesus Christ, like
Florida State, Penn State, if Texas opens
Texas.
Up, yeah.
And I mentioned earlier, we might see Oklahoma come up. Like, we're talking 5 and maybe even Auburn, like 5, 6 blue bloods of college football open.
Yeah. And I think Auburn's pretty likely. Hugh Freeze, I'd be surprised if he holds on to his job.
Yeah, I think he's gone too. And Wisconsin's going to open. I mean, Wisconsin I know is not like
blue blood,
but that's a huge fucking like Wisconsin is Wisconsin. That's a great job. Like that I would love to be. Yeah, I think we're in for some crazy shit to happen. And it's going to be fun to watch. Like it's hard to even speculate at this point as to truly what's going to happen. And what big name coach takes one of those jobs? Like Texas opens and like kind of like when Brian Kelly went to LSU, Notre Dame's immediately open. Like I think something like that is going to happen this year. So we'll see. A few weeks to go, but every week more and more people are getting fired. And I have a feeling this weekend, I know we've already heard the Napier stuff, but it wouldn't surprise me to see 1 or 2 more of these guys get fired this weekend. I tell you, if Florida State loses to Stanford, he better not be on the plane. If he's on that plane, I will be so pissed.
Yeah, I mean, I would put money down that Napier and Freeze are both relieved of duty at the end of this week because I don't think Auburn's getting out of Missouri.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It's at home, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure Missouri is giving points to, or no, Auburn's giving points to Missouri this week. Yeah, I will be shocked if Napier and Freeze are both employed by the time we record next.
All right, so we're going to get into just a couple of my favorite things I saw from the week before we get into our picks for this week. We did just talk about Oklahoma State has a job opening, and you had talked about how, I mean, it's a great fan base. Everything's good there, but it just, obviously things weren't going with Gundy. One of the better things that it was probably my favorite thing I saw this weekend, to be honest, from college football was in Oklahoma State. His sister, his name was Trent Eaton, and his sister bet him to go up to this open section and just start waving his shirt. I have retweeted probably 94,000 different angles of this because everyone was posting it and it's awesome. But here's just a quick little video of it.
I just say new world record at the end of that? I'm pretty sure I did. It said new world record
but,
for like.
But it said like made up world record. Yeah, it did say that, but they like made it up. It said
I was gonna
probably.
say PD Pablo probably has something to say about that, but.
So the one guy goes and starts, and there's no one at this fucking game. The whole side's empty. 3 sections end up full of guys waving their t-shirts. And it was hilarious because when they did the fourth quarter start, when they do Friends in Low Places, they were all had their arms around each other singing it. It was a hilarious moment for a team that sucks. And it was one of my favorite moments of the week. I absolutely loved seeing it. Another one of my favorite moments and also Oklahoma State announced they're doing a no t-shirt giveaway this week. So if you show up, you do not get a t-shirt, which was pretty funny. I mean, it was a nice way to play on it. We talked about Florida. This was one of my favorite things I saw also. Pay close attention to the man on the right side of the screen. So he had some choice celebration for the Gators as they were walking off the field. We're going to show that one more time.
I love the leg kick that goes with it too.
Yes, that guy is. If I'm gonna figure out who he is, and I might buy his jersey. He's incredible. One of the other things, if you follow me on Twitter every Saturday, that Texas A&M has a home game, you typically see I retweet quite a bit. They have a Texas A&M Police Twitter page, and it is outside of like message board geniuses. It's one of the greatest like Twitter follows you can possibly have during the college football season. This one was just pure amazement. I don't know how this is even possible. Police intoxication, Aggie Park, contacted subject eating a sandwich with a water jug of whiskey. Blood alcohol content was 0.337. 0.337 released to EMS. First off, 0.337 is like death. So the real Johnny boy here says, is this really the number or a typo? I need clarification because I don't think 0.337 can be real. It is correct. That is why EMS was called. Like, you couldn't get the 0.337 if your life depended on it. Like,
I have a feeling we've gotten pretty close drinking some Holy Citrus back at Ball U, but
so it's actually funny. I was going to pull up another one. I didn't save it because I was like, oh, whatever. It was one where a girl was trying to get into a bar. When asked for an ID, she gave a credit card. And they had to call her mom, and her mom got her. And that took me back to when I tried to get into Dill Street with my Blockbuster card. It's like these are the days of when you're too drunk to get anywhere. But 0.337 is like I'm sure that's dead. Like that can't be.
That's also back when even having a Blockbuster card didn't automatically qualify you as being old enough to walk into a bar. So
that's true. Yeah, like I was back in the day. But yeah, 0.337, like holy hell. We also mentioned I had talked about how Iowa State was down like all of their corners, they were down all their kickers. This beast entered the game. Carson Rhodes, 6'8", 310. Hold on, we got to get the banner down here real quick. 4th string kicker.
that was too perfect to have that hidden.
So
4th string kicker.
4th string kicker, 6'8", 310. So not only did they have none of their corners, that's the guy kicking the ball. And
did the ball explode when he kicked? Do we have video?
No kidding, it should have. And the sad thing is, they got absolutely fucking screwed. They threw a pass in the end zone to score to take the lead. The Colorado guy, I kid you not, is one of the worst pass interferences you would ever see in your life. They threw a flag. Colorado picks it off. They picked the flag up. Matt Campbell about killed everyone on the field. It was, I've never seen anything like it. It was an absolute terrible call. Do I have anything else for? I do have one more video, but that's going to come a little later on as a surprise to Reese. So we'll save that for now. All right, let's get into the picks for the week. So we are at week 8. We're kicking it off Friday night. Of course, this team still hasn't left the fucking state of Florida. Louisville is going on the road to number 2 Miami. Miami's a 13.5 point favorite at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. 49.5 over under Saturday at 7 on ESPN.
Yeah, both teams coming off bye weeks here. Louisville hits the road and should have come into this matchup undefeated, but they dropped an OT heartbreaker at home to Virginia last week, while Miami's returning home after a pretty convincing win over your struggling Knowles squad. Can't seem to get their defense right. Last 3 between these teams has been decided by 1 score or less, and last year was a 97-point shootout. Cards are going to need to do a better job protecting Miller Moss. They did last week. He got sacked 5 times, and now they're heading up against one of the better defenses in the country. I think Miami gets the W here, but this spread just seems a little bit salty to me in recent history. So I'm going to take Brahms Cards to keep this one close enough to cover.
Yeah, I'm with you on Louisville in the cover. I think Louisville might win this game. I think it's time. That guy's going to shit the bed at some point this year, and it might be this week, and I'm hoping for it. I just wish it was one of those road Friday night games or a road Friday night game, not a home game for them. Unfortunately, it seems like we're the only one that has to fucking do that. These assholes still haven't left the state. So I don't even think they leave the state till like November. It's absurd. We've talked a lot about Nebraska and Coach Matt Rule. Number 25, Nebraska is a 7.5-point favorite as they go on the road to Minnesota at Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. 47.5 Friday at 8 on Fox.
And Cornhuskers come in ranked after getting a 3-point win over the Terps in College Park and continue their road trip to the bank to take on the Boat Rowers in Minneapolis. They're staying home after a 7-point win last week over the Boilermakers. Gophers have been protecting their home turf so far this year, and they've won 5 straight in this series. But Nebraska's got second-year Dylan Raiola. They've got an improved defense. I'm going to take the Huskers here to win a cover in a close one.
This one just has all the makings to me. Like, there's all the coach talk, the coach leaving talk. It's the road weeknight game. It's a snake oil salesman, head coach on the other team. I'm taking Minnesota. I think the situation's right. I don't like Minnesota that much this year. I don't think they're as good as they've been the past few years, but this is a situation game to me, and it smells too much for me. So I'll take Minnesota. Number 10, LSU going on the road. Number 17, Vandy. Vandy is a 2.5-point favorite. I think it's the first time they've been favored in a conference game. I believe I saw since like 2018 or 17 or something crazy. First Bank Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee, 49.5 over under Saturday at noon on ABC.
Bayou Bengals hit the road again after a 10-point win over the visiting Gamecocks last week. The Commies are coming off a bye, looking to bounce back after that road loss to Bama. LSU has won the last 10 in this, got one of the best defenses in the country. That said, Nussmeier's been lackluster at best in SEC play so far this season. I think he's got 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Tigers have also lost 7 road games under Brian Kelly since 2023. Now they're heading into Nash Vegas to go up against the Pisser. I'm taking Vandy here to win and cover.
Yeah, I'm on Vandy too. You got that the road team in that noon spot, like they're not going to be up ready to go. Vandy's crowd's there now. Like it's not going to be a 90% LSU crowd like it was in the past for Vandy. I think the situation's huge, and Vandy can keep the ball away. Like that option offense that they're running with Diego is awesome. So I really like what they're doing at 49.5. That might be too high. I think we're probably going under that, but I do like Vandy to get the win and cover. Number 12, Georgia Tech is going on the road to Duke. Duke is a 1.5-point favorite at Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina. 60.5 over under Saturday at noon on ESPN.
Yeah, Jackets hitting the road to Durham after a 15-point win over the Hokies last week. Dukies are returning from a bye week after thumping the Cal Bears by 24 in Berkeley. I had to take a second look at the spread because I'm not sure why Georgia Tech is coming in here as a dog, to be honest with you. The Blue Devils are giving up a lot of ground yards, and Haynes King's been doing Haynes King things all year. I know Duke's got Darian Mensah. He's leading the ACC in touchdowns right now, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I'm taking Yellow Jackets money line here.
Yeah, this is kind of that same like when Illinois went to Duke earlier this year, and I thought Duke was going to be able to handle that, and they didn't. I'm kind of the same way with you. Like, to me, Georgia Tech, I think, should win this game easily. Like, I don't quite understand this either. Number 14, Oklahoma is a 5.5-point favorite as they go on the road to South Carolina, Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. 43.5 over under Saturday at 12:45 on the SEC network.
The Sooners coming off the ugly loss in Red River and Dallas, looking to bounce back in another road game. Gamecocks have dropped 3 of their last 4, return home after a 10-point loss to LSU. Mateer's back. He did look rusty against a tough Longhorns defense, so the Gamecocks are going to want to turn up the pressure. South Carolina is just struggling to find the end zone this year, and I think that's going to come in to bite them. So I'm going to go Oklahoma here to win and cover on the road.
Yeah, I'm on Oklahoma. Man, I'm on Oklahoma also. I don't think Mateer should have went back and played in that Texas game. He was not throwing the ball well at all. And like we mentioned, South Carolina did just fire their offensive line coach. So they've already had changes. Man, I just wonder if Oklahoma can beat them by 6 points. Like that almost seems like too many points, honestly. It is that sleepy day game, too. I'll take Oklahoma. I don't like that one, though. Number 1, Ohio State is a 25.5-point favorite as they go on the road to Wisconsin at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin. 41.5 over under Saturday at 3:30 on CBS.
Yeah, Buckeyes have kept things rolling, covering the last 3 weeks. They continued their road trip to Camp Randall to face a Badgers team that's on a 4-game skid. Wisconsin's not put up more than 14 in a month, and now they're going up against a defense that's allowing under 7 a game. Buckeyes win and cover here with ease. And side prediction, I think this might be Luke Fickell's last game.
Yeah, I think I agree on every aspect of that. That's Ohio State's defense has been good against shitty offenses, and that's what this is. So I don't think it's going to be too difficult for them at all. And I think Ohio State might score 41 themselves, though. That's what kind of scares me on that, but on the over-under at least. But yeah, I think Ohio State wins with ease, and yeah, it could be the end of Fickell. Michigan State is going on the road to number 3 IU. IU is a 27.5-point favorite at Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana. 52.5 over-under Saturday at 3:30 on Peacock. And don't forget, Coach Cignetti is locked up a Hoosier.
Team Sparty's lost 3 straight, hits the road after getting dominated by UCLA last week in East Lansing. Hoosiers returning home with their chest puffed out after getting a huge 10-point win over a good Oregon team in Autzen. Now they've locked up the SIG for a while. Michigan State has been hot garbage on defense this season. They gave up 250 yards plus on the ground to both USC and UCLA. Now they go up against the Big Ten leader in rushing yards per game. IU took care of business last year. They're going to do it again here. Light the SIG, win and cover.
Yeah, I did see Aiden Childs got hurt last week in the middle of the game. He did return to practice, so I think he's going to be good for this game. I'm actually going to take Michigan State to cover just because IU just went on the road, played a huge game. They're back. It's kind of a sleepy game. No need to worry. IU probably still wins easily. 21-24. I think 28 might be too much, but Mendoza probably is our Heisman favorite right now. So if they're looking to potentially keep building that, maybe he does throw up some good stats. But I just think it's too many points. I'll take Michigan State to cover. Number 4, Texas A&M is a 7.5-point favorite going on the road to Arkansas at Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. 60.5 over under Saturday at 3:30 on ESPN.
Yeah, it's a little confusing to me. 60.5 is the over under, and they only have A&M here by 7.5. They're hitting the road here to Fayetteville as a top 4 squad after taking care of business last week against a visiting Gators team. Arkansas is returning home after almost upsetting a good Tennessee team in Knoxville last week. They almost got it done. But A&M's won 12 of 13 against the Razorbacks since joining the SEC. 7 of those have been 1-score games, which is probably why the spread looks like this. But Aggies have been at home. They've been at home since September 13th win over, or have been at home since the September 13th road game against Notre Dame. So maybe that's another reason why this is a little closer than expected. But I'm still going to roll with the Yell leaders here. I just don't think this is going to end up being. I think it's going to be at least a 10-14 point victory.
Yeah, I'm on A&M also. They're. I don't. Yeah, I think I'll say it. I think if I were to pick 2 teams to win the national title right now, they'd probably be the second team I pick. So I honestly really love what that team's doing. Arkansas, I know the offense is good, but I don't think their defense is going to be able to handle it. And yeah, and it's not even like a noon game. It's 3:30 even. So I think A&M's in good shape still. I like them to win and cover that one. We've got a big one going on in Athens. Number 5, Ole Miss versus number 9, Georgia. Georgia's a 7.5-point favorite at Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. 54.5 over under Saturday at 3:30 on ABC. This is the does Lane Kiffin shit the bed game of the year.
You're going to laugh here in a second. So basically, Ole Miss hits the road 4-game home stretch, escaping last week with a 4-point win over a subpar Washington State team to go up against the Bulldogs, who return to Sanford, looking to make it 3 straight W's after a 10-point win over Auburn and Jordan Hare. Ole Miss won this by 18 last year, but they haven't won at Georgia since the mid-90s. Rebel defense has struggled to slow down the run game. This is Shambles' first road start in a tough one. The one note I have on this game, Jake, you always say at some point in the season, Ole Miss ends up shitting the bed.
Yep.
I don't know if this is where it's going to happen, but I think it ends up being a close one at the end. So I'm going to take Kiffin in the points here to keep it close enough, but I'm not confident that Ole Miss is going to be able to escape with a victory.
Yeah, I honestly think both of these teams are overrated a little bit. I think they're both rated way too high. But for Georgia being the home team, I'm not sure that Chambliss is going to be able to handle this environment. So I do like Georgia actually to get the cover in this one. This next one is huge. We've got some quarterback questions though. There's a chance both starting quarterbacks are in the game, and there's a chance both aren't. But it does look like they're both going to be back. Number 7, Texas Tech is a 7.5-point favorite as they go on the road to Arizona State at Mountain America Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. 51.5 over under Saturday at 4 on Fox.
Yeah, Texas Tech keeps rolling, hits the road to the desert after a 25-point win over the visiting Jayhawks last week. Sun Devils return home after a rough 32-point loss to the Utes at Rice-Eccles. Again, like you said, tough game because both teams have question marks on the health of their quarterbacks with Morton and Levitt both dealing with leg injuries, but the Red Raiders have been covering spreads, and they should be able to take advantage of Arizona State's porous run defense. So I'm still going to roll with Texas Tech here to win and cover.
Yeah, Dillingham kind of came out and, I mean, he basically said, like, yeah, we got our ass beat last week. There's not a lot we could do about it. Like, that was what it was. But this is a new week. Everyone's going to be back. It's a home game. This is kind of the last stand for Arizona State. If they want to make the conference championship, I'm going to take Arizona State. I think they might win this game, actually. But I do think that they can cover this one for sure. But this is going to be a great game. I'm very excited for this game, especially if Levitt and Morton are both playing. Next game, number 22, Memphis, which could potentially be a playoff team, is a 21.5-point favorite as they go on the road to UAB at Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. 63.5 over under Saturday at 4 on the Deuce.
Yeah, Tigers hit the road to Birmingham after a bye, are still undefeated after a 38-point win over Tulsa. Blazers are looking for their first win since mid-September, and they're going to play their first game without head coach Trent Dilfer, who got fired on Sunday. Baby Kitna leads the American in passing percentage, but their defense can't stop a nosebleed, and the Tigers have won the last 2 meetings by almost 30. So I'm going to take Memphis here to win and cover on the road.
Yeah, I'm on Memphis too. Typically, you would think some of those coach situations, you get that one game bump and stuff like that, but I don't really think that's going to be the situation here. I do like Memphis a lot. Number 8, Oregon is a 17.5-point favorite as they go on the road to Rutgers at Shea Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. 59.5 over under Saturday at 6:30 on the Big Ten Network.
Yeah, Ducks looking to bounce back after a tough home loss against IU last week. Jump on the cross-country flight to Jersey to take on a Rutgers team that's lost 3 straight. They're returning home after a 19-point loss to the Huskies. Should be a good bounce-back contest for Dante Moore and the Ducks here as the Scarlet Knights are getting up over 30 a clip in 4 of their last 6 games. So let's go Puddles here minus the points.
Yeah, to me, this seems like one of those games that Rutgers will keep it close and then shit themselves late. I just don't know if they can shit themselves to 18 points. That's kind of what I'm struggling with this one because I think Rutgers might keep this one closer than we think. I'm going to take Rutgers to cover this, actually. I think they're going to cover this. I don't think they're going to win by any means because any chance they ever have to win a big game, they fuck it up. But I do think that they can keep it close with the way that they play in a home game. Washington State is going to go on the road to number 18, Virginia. Virginia is a 16.5-point favorite at Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia. 56.5 over under Saturday at 6:30 on the CW network.
The Cougars continued their East Coast road trip and have lost 2 of their last 3, including last week's 3-point loss to a good old Miss team. Cavaliers are for Virginia, returning from a bye week, and they look to continue riding their 4-game winning streak, recently an OT victory over the Cardinals in Louisville. Washington State squad showed they can hang around against solid opponents last week, so I think Virginia's going to get the W here, but I'm actually going to take Washington State in the points.
Yeah, the thing is they just went all the way to Mississippi back. Now they're going all the way to Virginia. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to do it again. I'm going to take Virginia in this one minus the 16.5. Number 21, Texas is a 12.5-point favorite and is going on the road to Kentucky at Kroger Field in Lexington, Kentucky. 44.5 over under Saturday at 7 on ESPN.
The Longhorns creeped back into the top 25 rankings after getting the home win over the Sooners last week, or the neutral field win. Now they're hitting the road to take on a Kentucky Wildcats team that's coming off a bye, but they have not been playing well against tougher opponents this year, coming off a 21-point loss to the Georgia Bulldogs. Kentucky's passing defense particularly is atrocious, so I'm going to take Texas in the points here to win and cover, and we'll see if Sarkisian's unlocked how to use Arch effectively because he looked pretty decent in last week's game, but that could be a system of the Red River shootout. We'll see. But either way, I'm taking Texas here minus the points.
Yeah, and we already talked about Kentucky being one of those jobs potentially open with Mark Stoops at the end of the year. I think Texas wins and covers. I just don't think this game is good at all. This is a terrible game. This one, on the other hand, is a great game. Number 11, Tennessee is going on the road. Number 6, Alabama. Alabama is a 7.5-point favorite. Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 59.5. Saturday at 7:30 on ABC.
Yeah, top 25 battle. Volunteers hit the road and look to win 4 straight after a 3-point escape over Arkansas last week, going up against a Bama team that's been on a roll since their season opener, returning to Bryant-Denny after a big road win over the Missouri Tigers. Ty Simpson continues to look good. The Vols haven't won at Bama since 2003, and I don't think that changes here. I'm going to go Roll Tide to win and cover.
Yeah, it's the cigar game. It's the third Saturday in October. It's the third team in the song. Fuck Auburn, fuck LSU, and Tennessee too. That's the third team. Saban said it's the game he gets his guys up for. Saban said it was easier to get his guys up to play Tennessee than it was to play Auburn. He said this is the game that they look forward to every year. This game's in Tuscaloosa. It's a night game. Bama's fucking rolling. Their best player, Ryan Williams, is almost non-existent, and they're still rolling. As soon as he gets it going, it's fucking over. To me, this team is clear. I don't know how the fuck we beat them the first week of the season. I guess smoking fucking mirrors, but this team is really fucking good, and I do think that they roll in this one. I don't think Tennessee's defense has a chance in hell.
Is Jam playing? I know he had a concussion.
I believe he is playing. Number 20, USC is going on the road to number 13, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 9.5-point favorite at Notre Dame Stadium in Notre Dame, Indiana, 61.5 over under. Saturday at 7:30 on NBC.
Yeah, another top 25 battle here with the Trojans hitting the road again after getting a bounce-back victory over Michigan at the Coliseum last week. Irish continue to ride their 4-game winning streak, and they've stuck around in South Bend after a 29-point win over the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. USC hasn't won in South Bend since 2011. Won 6 of the last 7. Notre Dame has. They've taken 3 of the last 4 by more than a touchdown. But USC's coming in with Jaden Mayava, who's playing very, very well. And the matchup to watch here is going to be the Trojans' rush defense versus this Notre Dame rushing attack. I think this game is going to be close. I don't know what the final score is going to be, but I do not see Notre Dame winning this game by 10 points. So I'm going to take USC in the points.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think it's too many points, and I think USC could potentially win this outright. I'm pretty big on them in this game. They did have some big news, though. The running back is out for the rest of the season. It's a big loss. And last week, they had a guy on the injury report that they ended up playing in the second half. I don't know how the hell do you do that, but they did, and they got in trouble for it. But, I mean, they still played him, so it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, USC I do like in this one. It'll be another fun one. That with Tennessee and Alabama at the same time. We've got a pretty exciting Saturday night coming up, especially with a couple more games we're getting ready to get to. We've got a Holy War going on too. So, but first, FAU is going on the road to 19 USF. USF is a 21.5-point favorite at Ray J. 72.5 over under Saturday at 7:30 on ESPNU.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. The Owls just put 53 up against UAB at home. The Bulls are averaging plus 60 in their last 3. They're returning home after laying 63 on North Texas. This is going to be a fun game to watch if you love offense. But I'm going to take the points here. I think USF is going to win this one pretty handedly, but I just don't know if it's going to be more than 3 scores.
Yeah, and I still think we've got to watch out. I'm pretty sure that coach is gone. I think Golish is going to take one of these jobs. So there's always that lingering also. And when it's 21.5, you get a little nervous, but I mean, it's hard to doubt what USF's doing right now. I'm going to take USF to cover, honestly. I mean, they're just putting it fucking on people. Number 16, Missouri, a game you talked about a little earlier as a potential end of career. Number 16, Missouri is a 1.5-point favorite as they go on the road to Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. 43.5 over under Saturday at 7:45 on the SEC network.
Yeah, Tigers hitting the road and looking to bounce back after a home loss against a good Bama team. Tigers of Auburn are on a 3-game losing streak and look to shake off a 10-point home loss to the Georgia Bulldogs last Saturday. I could play it safe here and just say I'm picking the Tigers to win, but I'll clarify it for you here, Jake. I am going to go Mizzou to win this one, and I would go money line. I don't think this is going to be as much of a game.
Yeah, I like Missouri also. 1.5 isn't very many points. I like them to cover that. So I like Missouri too, and kind of even with you, this could potentially be the end of Hugh Freeze, but yeah, I like Missouri. Number 23, Utah is a 3.5-point favorite as the Holy War goes to number 15, BYU at Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. 49.5 over under Saturday at 8 on Fox.
Another top 25 battle. Utah hits the road after a 32-point home win over the Sun Devils last week, facing off against an undefeated BYU team. They did need overtime to get the win over Arizona. Should be a really good matchup here. I do think at the end of this, Devin Dampier's dual threat approach might just be a little bit too much for BYU to contain. So I'm going to take Utah here to squeak by with the cover.
I'm not doing it. Give me the Mormons, the only Mormons, BYU and the Holy War. I like them at home. I like this team. I think Utah's win last week was a little bit skewed. Jeff Sims played for Arizona State. Jeff Sims fucking started 34 years ago at Georgia Tech. He was a recruit for Florida State. I didn't even know this guy was still in fucking college. Like, truly, this guy's been in college for 10 years. He played against like Trevor Lawrence when he was at Georgia Tech. Like, he's been in college forever. And the fact that when I saw Jeff Sims was the starting quarterback, I was like, hold on, is that the same guy? And it is. He's been at like 34 colleges. This is a whole different animal when it comes to BYU. I love BYU at home in this one, and getting the hook too. I'm on BYU to win this. Holy War is going to be awesome though, like it always is. And to end it, number 24 Cincinnati is a 21.5-point favorite. They are going though to the maybe world record of unshirted men twirling shirts above their heads at Oklahoma State, at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma. 57.5 over under Saturday at 8 on the Deuce.
Only could that happen in a place called Boone Pickens. Cincy has won 5 straight, comes into this one ranked after a 9-point win over UCF, while Oklahoma State's looking for their second straight win of the year after looking for their second win of the year. Jesus, after a 22-point home loss to Houston last week. We talked a little bit last week about how good Brandon Sorsby has looked with that offense, averaging 36 a game. Cowboys haven't fared any better since Gundy got the boot. I don't think they're going to here. They can wave as many shirts as they want over their head. I'm going to take Cincy here to win and cover.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm for the shirt guys. If
going
they show
for the
up,
shirts,
if we get that one more fucking time this week, they're covering. So I'm on Oklahoma State pending the shirt guys being there. So, and I know there's going to be someone there. All right, that's it. That's it for the top 25. Going into the Muncie 6-pack. Interesting little matchup here. Another job. I mean, we talked about jobs that could be open. Michigan could be open too. I mean, there's so many big jobs that could be open this year. Washington is going on the road to Michigan. Michigan's a 5.5-point favorite at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. 50.5 over under Saturday at noon on Fox.
Washington's won 2 straight since their loss to the Buckeyes, but they face a pretty tough road test here against the Michigan team that returns home after an 18-point road loss to the hands of USC. Huskies have put up 24 or more every week except for the Ohio State game, and Michigan's been up and down this year, so I'm going to roll the dice on this and take the Huskies in the points to at least cover, if not get the win.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like in this aspect is it is a 9 a.m. local for Washington. But outside of that, I love everything else to do with it. I'm not that big on Michigan. I do not think they are very good. I like Washington to get the cover in this one. Arizona, coming off of that tough fucking game with BYU last week. They honestly should have beat BYU in that game, the overtime game last week. They blew it at the end, but a great performance overall by Arizona. They're a 1.5-point favorite as they go on the road to Houston, TD-ECU Stadium, 47.5 over under Saturday at noon on the One for Fun.
Yeah, Arizona looking to bounce back, obviously. Tigers returned to Houston after beating the Oklahoma State Cowboys by 22 in Stillwater. I think this is going to be a pretty close matchup, but I do think Houston comes in with a slight edge as the home team. They also have been a little bit more efficient, so I'm going to take the Tigers here to get the upset win at home.
Wait, what did you just say? The Tigers? I'm highly confused.
Houston. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. I was like, what game are we talking about here? I thought I was on the wrong game.
The Cougs.
So I actually like Houston or Arizona here. I know that they blew that game last week, and it was unfortunate they lost. Honestly, they had them beat, but it sets up for a great holy war, I guess. But I like Arizona, what they've been doing lately. Fafita's kind of back on a roll. Wegman's been good at Houston, and I'm not down on Houston at all either. I just think Arizona is going to go there and be able to cover the 1.5. Baylor's going to TCU. TCU is a 2.5-point favorite at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth. 65.5 over under Saturday at noon on the Deuce.
Yeah, Baylor returns from their bye after escaping with a 1-point win over Kansas State 2 weeks ago. Horned Frogs look to bounce back after a 13-point loss on the road to that same Kansas State squad. TCU played pretty sloppy last week. They're going to need to clean it up to get the win. I think if they get a bit of a bounce back this week, they'll be rolling in the right direction. I'm going to go with the Frogs here, minus the points.
Yeah, this game is honestly one where it's like, I don't know, because you never know which one of these teams you're going to get. Both teams are probably the most, these two and Kansas State, it's funny, they're all in the same conference. They're probably the most inconsistent teams in college football this year. I'm going to roll with TCU at home just because they're the home team, but I do not like this game whatsoever. This next game had a real interesting twist. So SMU is going on the road to Clemson. Clemson's a 5.5-point favorite at Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. 50.5 over under Saturday at 3:30 on the ACC network. Just yesterday, Clemson was a 10-point favorite, and it was a 57 over under. And then news has started to trickle out that Cade Klubnik is probably not playing. So starting to make some sense as to what happened there.
Yeah, Pony teams won their last two. Now they're heading to Clemson after a 24-point win over the Tree, facing the Clemson Tiger team that's won their last two and held both teams to 10 points, but sounds like they're going to be without Klubnik. I think Clemson has a good shot at man, you know what? I'm gonna revert on this. I thought Clemson had a good shot at winning this. I just think SMU is going to come into this knowing that Klubnik is not playing. They're going to take advantage of that. I'm going to take SMU here to at least cover the points, if not get the outright win. I think there's a really solid possibility that Clemson gets another L here.
Yeah, it swung me quite a bit too. I'm kind of the same way. I think SMU can go there and win this game now. I'm going to take SMU out. Well, I'll take them plus the 5.5, but I do think SMU potentially does win this game. I think their offense is Clemson is struggling right now, stopping offenses like what SMU can do on offense. And without them being able to match it, I think that's going to be a big deal. This one's a huge deal in the mid-major world. UNLV still undefeated after a huge win against Air Force. That was a fun game last week. They're going on the road to Boise. Boise's 12.5-point favorite at Albertson Stadium, 62.5 over under Saturday at 3:30. And this is the definition of the one for fun.
Yeah, we just talked about them a little bit, rolling in undefeated after a sneaky 3-point win. They put up 51, and now they're heading to Boise to take on a Broncos team. Just got a 16-point win over the visiting New Mexico Lobos. It's going to be another high-scoring affair. I don't know, man. I just this UNLV team is good. I don't know if they're going to win it, but getting 12.5 with this UNLV team is kind of hard to turn away. So I'm going to take UNLV here in the points.
Yeah, this is does Boise get the blue turf magic in this one? I'm kind of with you. I'm going to take UNLV to get the cover in it also. Going to be a great game. I am very excited to watch this one. It's going to be hard to turn this next one off, though, because at the same time, Akron is going on the road to Ball State. We did have a flip here. Just yesterday, Akron was the favorite. Apparently, money has poured in. Jim Davis probably put some large bet from Garfield, and Ball State has now become a 1.5-point favorite at Schumann Stadium in Muncie, Indiana. 42.5 over under Saturday at 3:30 on the plus.
Yeah, every one of the guys that's at the top of this slide should have been putting money in. Charlie Cardinal, Garfield. We got Ryan Kerrigan up here. Big Scott and Carter.
I'm glad I'm not up there.
Ball U. You're there. You're behind the ball, brothers. But both these teams are obviously a hot mess on both sides of the ball. Akron's coming off a 13-point home loss to Miami of Ohio. Ball State just got their ass handed to them by Central Michigan. The Cards have fared better at home, though, than on the road. So I am cautiously taking my chirps here in the points to get the win in the show.
There's three teams I'm never taking unless they're playing each other. And one of them was last week when Kent State beat UMass. But Akron's the third. I'm never taking them. So I will take Ball State minus 1.5.
Let's go.
I'm not taking Akron ever. And to close it, Baby Billy's final game, maybe. Mississippi State is going on the road to Florida. Florida is a 9.5-point favorite at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida. 50.5 over under Saturday at 4:15 on the SEC network.
Bulldogs return from a bye after a 31-9 road loss to the Aggies. Gators return home after a 17-point road loss to the same Aggies team. Concern for Mississippi State is that defense is just a mess. Makes this one a late afternoon game in the swamp. Does Billy come in? If all this shit's happening right now and they're saying Billy's going to lose his job either way, maybe Billy riles his boys up and says, I need, win one for the Gipper. I'm going to take the Gators here minus the points. I just have a feeling that they're going to 4:15 is a weird start time, but let's go Napier to get one last win before he gets his ass canned.
Yeah, the SEC network with their 12:45 and 4:15 times really pissed me off. It's so stupid, but it's the SEC. What do you expect? But yeah, I have that same philosophy. It's why would the team not want to come out with him and try to put on a good performance against a team that honestly is not that good? So I think the situation is the situation. I think Florida does get the win and cover in this one. But one last time for this one, just in case it's the end of it. My wife got deported 2 months ago, and I am more upset with Billy than Ice. That's the last time I get to run that. It was a good run for it. It is now time to go into our lock of the week. If I can get down here.
Lock me in. Ohio State minus 25.5 versus Wisconsin.
Reese has Ohio State. I'm going with Bama. Fuck your mother. Fuck your brother. All that Dixieland Delight, beautiful song. And Tennessee 2 is the end of it. Just remember, they're there to beat their ass. I think this is a huge game, and I can't see Tennessee stopping Bama. Dog of the week.
It's unfortunate that we're using that howl from that man for this team.
Oh, he's going to hate it.
But I'm taking USC plus 275 versus Notre Dame. I think the Trojans are going to get the win here.
So I told Reese earlier I had one more video I had loaded that I was waiting for. He sent me this the other day, and this is why he's picking USC.
Oh my God.
We're going to show that one more time just in case you missed it. Oh man. So that is what's going on in South Bend. I, on the other hand, am taking an actual Husky. I'm taking the Washington Huskies to go to Ann Arbor.
Grabbing a Husky there.
You're probably right on that one. He probably was. I cannot wait. As I would like to send a statement out before we close this show to Andrew Carter, Beavis, and Scott. I talk a lot of shit about Texas A&M and what the Yell leaders do. I've never seen that, so I'm going to need you guys to comment, and we're going to need a response as to what is going on with your football team when that's what's going on.
That's a whole new level of pass it back.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. We're closing the show one more time. That was a straight.
That pinky disappeared.
5. He had 5 squeezes. He did 3, stopped, and then went back for 2 more.
Not to mention the fact that we had 5 fingers that went to 4, and I'm not going to know where that 5th finger went, but that pinky disappeared for a minute.
We're going to call that the Urban Meyer. It's the
lucky leprechaun is what that is.
Guys, I'm going to need a response. All 3 of you. I'm going to need a response and actually, I think there's actually some of their friends are Notre Dame fans that listen. So anyone that's a Notre Dame fan, I'm going to need some comments on that. That was too much. But for your sake, good luck against the Trojans. I'm taking Washington. We're out of here. We'll be back with NFL. I'll play you out with some Notre Dame. Just squeeze your hand a little bit as the song plays and pretend.